you for coming. I hope you were all here for learning more about the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship, or SURF, for the Pacific Islands Climate Adaptation Science Center. My name is Rachel Lentz. I help coordinate this program, and that's why you'll see me on emails. So I'm here to give you information, what information I can about it, and answer any questions that you may have at the end. So you are all here to learn a little bit about SURF, but let's start with, what is PICASC? Well, first of all, it's an acronym because saying the Pacific Islands Climate Adaptation Science Center is quite a mouthful, and it always seems to take a while, so we refer to it as PICASC. But so what is PICASC? PICASC is one of 9 regional climate adaptation science centers that form a network across the country. This map shows you where all of these are. PICASC itself these have all kind of been created across the years. We began in 2012, so we've been around for just over 10 years. We were one of the first ones to start, but the way that the program has evolved over time, we've kind of broadened here and there and everywhere, but every one of these CASCs is a partnership between a federal arm, which is represented by the USGS, and a university consortium. In our case, this university consortium is led by the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and it includes the University of Hawaii at Hilo and the University of Guam. But you can see from this map that all these other regions have a lead university represented by the stars, and then a bunch of other universities and institutions that participate in this partnership with the USGS. And the idea of these CASCs is that in each of these regions, we work with local partners, natural and cultural resource managers, as well as federal and state government agencies and scientists and researchers, to identify basically what are the local climate adaptation needs for the individual regions, and how can we support through research generating what we call actionable science and science products, things that can be used right off the bat, things to address these regional needs. So we facilitate by supporting science and students producing this actionable science for our local regions. So this is just to give you an idea of who's involved here. We have a bunch of people who are federal staff, so that arm, but then we also have a lot of people who are involved at the different universities, Manoa, Hilo, and UOG, and we cover a range of positions, and everybody is very happy to help talk to students and encourage them and talk about our organization. We do also have, I should add, we are co-located with the Hawaii Sea Grant College Program. The University Consortium Director, Darren Lerner, is also the head of Hawaii Sea Grant. And so we have some people whose help, we kind of leverage them. They're all Sea Grant people, but they work out in the greater Pacific area, in American Samoa, in the Marshall Islands, and in Micronesia. And we've done a lot of work with those sorts of folks too, out across the Pacific. So then, what's SURF? All right, so the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship is in its 4th year. It's a program that we developed quite a few years ago, had a couple pilot runs, and this is now the 4th summer that we have run this program. And the idea is that we provide promising undergraduates like yourselves a valuable research experience that they might not otherwise be able to line up for themselves. The idea is to improve the skills that the student has, learning climate science techniques, help them learn more about climate and environmental issues in Hawaii and Guam. And we also are just trying to help build capacity in climate science research for the future of this region, all across the Pacific region. So we want to support students who are interested in this so that they can then proceed in this career to help our region deal with climate. In terms of eligibility, at this point, because we keep morphing a little bit, basically we're open to any enrolled undergraduates who are either at an institution in the UH system, 2-year or 4-year, as well as UOG, or they're attending a different college, but are basically local to Hawaii or Guam. So they went to high school in Hawaii or Guam and are now at a college someplace else. And you're home for the summer, you need a job, right? So our expectation is that you work for this 10-week period full time. You will attend all the events that we have, which include a beginning orientation, a couple professional development workshops, and a final symposium. You'll write up just a reflection of your summer work. There'll be some specific questions asking about the program and that kind of thing. And in exchange, we will give you a lovely stipend. The application process, which you can find all this information on the website, and there are some downloadable PDFs with all of this as well. But the idea is I would like you to turn that application in by the end of the day, Friday, February 24th. Please, if you can, make this all one PDF, except the letter of recommendation, which can be separate, but have a cover sheet that identifies who you are, how to get in touch with you, as well as 3 general areas of interest in climate science. The idea is we want to be able to connect you with a researcher in a topic that you're interested in, if possible. Please include a current resume and an unofficial college transcript. If you are a freshman, it's fine to just give us a high school transcript, and of course this can be unofficial. And then we have a 500-word essay, which we'll talk about in a second, and then this letter of recommendation. We will be contacting finalists to do an interview by Zoom, and then we will be able to identify who are going to be the actual fellows and try to hook you up with mentors. So just to go into that in a little bit more detail, the reason we ask about your area of interest is we would like to hook you up with a mentor of a similar research area. We cannot guarantee that, but we try and do our best so that you're automatically interested in what you're working on. The resume, we do want to get a sense of what your past experience is, whether that's in research or conservation or just community activities, extracurriculars, what kind of skills you bring to the table for this. That's not to say that you have to have previous research experience, but we'd like to get a sense of what your background is. Similarly, for the transcript, we just want to get a sense of what your academic background and successes have been. We're not, grading you on your grades or anything. We just want to get a sense of who you are. The recommendation letter is a way for us to get an outside perspective of what your abilities are. And I'll talk a little bit more about choosing a letter writer for that in a minute. And again, our essay is a chance for us to learn a little bit more about you, what your interests are. We're particularly interested in how you see this program being a fit to the path that you're currently on. So what you are interested in terms of your academic career, how you think this might benefit that pathway. And it's also a chance for you to express yourself and give us a sense of you and your personality a little bit, what your background is, that kind of thing. In terms of the letter, we have a couple tips. So the better your letter writer knows you, the more they can tell us about you and give us a better sense of their perspective of who you are. But it's also important for us to get a sense of the kinds of skills you have associated with research. So if they have that kind of perspective on your background, that's very helpful. Please proofread your written materials that you send in. It's easy these days to do that. And it's always to your benefit to make sure that you've reread things to make sure that it makes sense. So I'm an editor, so I always kind of note things like that. For my benefit, as I asked you, I was curious what your graduation year is. I'm just trying to get a sense of, I know that there's a lot of unconventional paths now. People are not cut and dried 4 years anymore, but just a sense of, are you later in your undergraduate career? Are you earlier? That kind of thing. So if you can give me a label about what year you are or when you're expecting to graduate on your application, that would be helpful. And then if you have any other questions after today's session, you may feel free to email me. My email is there. It is also on the website. I'm sure you have all been to the website at this point, so you can always ask about that. I don't think we have any mentors who are here, but if you are interested in, if you know a faculty member and you do want to work with them, we invite pairs to apply. So please pass along details to any potential mentors. We basically just want them to oversee the student in their lab, interact regularly with the student, and we hope that they would also attend the orientation and the final symposium to see how you're doing. And all they have to do is write a paragraph detailing this project and how it relates to climate adaptation science. And then we will give them a student for the summer, you guys, with these willing hands and excited minds, and it's to their benefit too. So if you know of anybody who's interested in something like that, encourage them to look up this information and apply as well. Same deadline. I just wanted to share some of these quotes from past fellows in case you're a little bit dubious. You're all here though, so you're probably excited. But these are some folks who have passed along what their thoughts were on their experience. So Savannah was one of our fellows last year, which was actually our first in-person summer, and it went great. She said, my time as a surf intern was one of the best experiences I could have asked for as an undergraduate. I learned new skills, made professional connections, and still work where PyCask assigned me today. I highly recommend applying. Several of our students in the past have continued working with the mentor that they were hooked up with and doing the project that they were involved with. Aaron had the same opportunity in 2021, and he is continuing to work. He's from the engineering department. And he said that it opened many doors for him and was a catalyst for major growth in my academic and personal life. I'm still working with my surf mentor as an undergraduate research assistant to investigate the topic I worked on initially for the surf program. Without surf, I wouldn't have made so many great connections and been exposed to my ideal career path. So it can definitely help you solidify what you want to be doing and give you some great connections. Pearson also said he was very thankful he had the opportunity. And then I threw in one of these. This is one of our mentors from 2020, the first year that we did it. Despite COVID, we had 3 students who were willing to try doing a remote fellowship. And they actually ended up doing kind of a hybrid one where they were able to get out in the field as well as doing some online computer work. And Casey Barton, Dr. Casey Barton, was one of our mentors from the botany department. And she said she mentored a surf student several years ago. It was a really fantastic experience for the student and me. So both the mentor and the students seem to really benefit from this program, which is why we are continuing to try and expand it and move forward. And here are just some shots of some of the students over the past few years and all the cool stuff that they were doing. So at this point, I'm just going to open this up for questions. If I went over that too fast, I'm happy to go back and talk about any of those elements again. Or if you have any other things that you are wondering about, I'd be happy to answer anything.